Cinco. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to Fuel Art Online webinar series, which aim to put together to merge the two worlds of art tech and NFT and the venture capital world. So, today at Fuel Arts webinar, we decided to enrich our borders and to invite a company which deals with fashion metaverse, because in recent decades we saw, the art market has seen a lot of collaborations between fashion and art, so-called art fashion. And in recent 2-3 years, tech has added to this collaboration. So now we have art plus tech plus fashion. And today we have first night where we are pleased to invite a fashion metaverse based uh, company called Metaverse Fashion Council. I'm happy to introduce the guests of today's webinar. We have three of them. Uh, the second, let's say, brand new addition to our webinar. First time we have three guests, but yeah, the more guests, the more opinion. So I'm happy to introduce you Lauren Ketcher, the Web3 fashion pioneer and digital fashion consultant. Previously, Lauren worked for Institut Français de la Mode, Saint Laurent, and Loewe brands. So for Metaverse Fashion Council, Lauren supports creative direction, design collaboration, and 3D design development. The second guest is Miki Elson, fellow of the Royalty Society of Arts, London, and multiple DAO founder. So for Metaverse Fashion Council, Miki heads up governance initiatives, marketing, and partnerships. And the co-founder, third person, the co-founder of Metaverse Fashion Council, Kazbek Bektursunov, an angel investor with more than 15 years of extensive experience in fashion industry and, let's say, 8 years of experience in blockchain and crypto. So hi Kazbek, hi Miki, hi Lauren. I should also say that the crypto community knows Lauren as under the nickname Kalau. So probably, yeah, for someone you are more familiar under your crypto nickname or avatar. Hi guys, and with me as always, Sonia Stubblebine, the project manager of Fuel Arts, our co-host.
Hi everyone, excited about this webinar.
Hi.
Yeah. So again, thanks for joining our broadcast. With the name of our webinar contained a phrase like 2 trillion opportunities by 2030, and we received quite a few private messages. Dennis, what did you mean? So let's showcase what did you mean, and we'll ask you about that. So what does this number stand for? 2 trillion opportunities by 2030 in fashion metaverse.
So may I start? Yep.
Sure.
So first of all, thank you for having us here. Yes. So thanks a lot, Dennis, and your excellent team. So it is like, there's a well-known and famous slogan, a message: fashion always sucks from arts. So in good sense, yeah, that's it was like T-shirts by Riccardo Tisci, yeah, fashion designer. So thanks a lot. I think that this communication will be quite good and beneficial for both sides. I will start with the short remarks and notes. We are not the company, first of all. So that's what we are struggling with all the time. We are decentralized, autonomous organization, not just with words here, but practically. So that is why we're not a company first. Then I am not a co-founder. So sorry, it wasn't mistake, Dennis. Yeah, it's like some sort of a cliche. I understand that usually on the market till now there are rather companies, corporations, governments than any kind of decentralized autonomous organization. So, and for us, it's quite uh, crucial, yeah, and quite important, and that can be one of the answers to this wild sounding question: what the fuck 2 trillion? Yeah, so because of course it's understandable that no company can get can can envelope, yeah, can grab 2 trillion of dollars of value, yeah, of anything. So what is the idea? So there are a lot of buzz about metaverse to come. Yeah, of course, there are new books, a lot of conferences. I just got the third invitation to Metaverse Summit conference. There is Metaverse Summit by Economist magazine. There is Metaverse Summit by Paris company. Lauren, you've been there, yeah, a couple of weeks before. Here in Silicon Valley, so they are going to organize another Metaverse Summit, of course, summit, yeah, in September. So it's okay. I mean, a lot of buzzwords here, a lot of hype, so-called hype, yeah, and bigger companies, bigger consultancy companies are joining the hype. Yes, so and so we see a lot of researches and a lot of forecasts. Yes, so there are there is a forecast by Citibank. They say, I don't remember exactly, but something like 3 trillion of dollars. Yeah, in 28. Okay, there were another forecast by Accenture. They are more modest. And now McKinsey comes. Yeah, 1 month ago they said 5 trillion. So it's okay. So our idea is that fashion should play quite important role, and we're going to explain why. Yeah. So in this, if we trust McKinsey, if it is going to be 5 trillion to 2030. So at least two of them will be like brought by fashion. We will explain how. But what is quite important, when we say us, we mean decentralized autonomous organization first, then Metaverse Fashion Council. That means double. Yeah, that means we are open for everyone. So we want to represent all the industry, all the decentralized industry. Yes, so we are going to explain how to do it. So let me give some framework for metaverse and metaverse fashion inside of it. Yeah. So uh, okay, no one can give us exact and standard definition of what metaverse is up to now. Yeah, everyone speaks about it, but still there are a lot of different uh, like quite different definitions. It's okay. So no one can say, oh no, no, no. Everyone says we are creating and building metaverse. So Facebook says we are metaverse. Snapchat says the same. Microsoft said. So we speak to all of them. Yeah. So a lot of bigger fashion brands are coming, but still no one can say so. Metaverse is there by this web address, or this application is the metaverse. So now, our first and main point is that the metaverse should be decentralized. There shouldn't be any Dubai government built metaverse. There shouldn't be like Seoul government built metaverse. No way. Just the sum of all of those metaverses, any of them. So, and that means that people will build the metaverse. That is our like main thesis, main point. Then if people are going to build this metaverse, decentralized metaverse, so that means that fashion, paradoxically, yeah, will play a more important role in creating metaverse than tech companies. I'm not kidding now. I'm not kidding now. So you can compare it to real fashion, so-called real. I mean physical fashion. So there are companies who create textiles and fabrics, yeah, for clothing, but it's not them who creates fashion industry. It's Coco Chanel, young, poor, quite creative, strong woman, yeah, with great ideas, with a vision of the new world. It's her, like her, people like her, who creates fashion industry, like a imaginary world, new imaginary world. The same story with the metaverse fashion, at least, yeah. So we mean that tech companies are creating analog of fabrics and of textile. Thanks them. Thank Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, please please prepare your Facebook as the layer number one, yeah, as the tech layer. But it will be people and creative people who will create this metaverse. And if people is the most important essence, yeah, so fashion will play quite important role. Why? Because all people in the metaverse, whatever you call them, characters, avatars, like persons, yeah. So they will use looks, they will use like fashion as the most effective and the shortest way how to express your personality, of course, your identity. So, so that is why fashion, speaking about business, yeah, will be the most traded kind of digital assets. So this is our thesis, yeah. So that is why we initiated this DAO. We are quite young. We are just 3 months and a half, yeah. But we already have more than 5,000 people in our community. Yeah? Just our newsletter is up to 2,000 of subscriptions just on LinkedIn. Yeah, so we have numbers, numbers, numbers. We have a lot of initiatives. We'll describe them, and we are quite open. Yeah, and we are about not just networking. We are about creating and building the metaverse fashion. So how we'll do it? So Lauren, Miki, so well,
Kazbek, can I ask you another question quickly? Because you were saying that nobody can actually explain what is metaverse.
uh-huh.
And if you would need to explain it, how would you put a description for the metaverse?
Well, it will be quite crazy definition. So I hope that I will be the only person who will not say it. I have my problem because my personal problem is that I have my philosophical background. Yeah, so I read like a lot of books about that, a lot of utopia books about that. So it's quite deep. Sorry for escaping now. We are working hard on that. I can tell you a secret, and through Frugal Arts, with a cool team of architects, not just artists, not just fashion designers, we're creating the special world, yeah, for the metaverse. One of them, yeah, and it will contain the core ideas, not just of the technical metaverse, yeah, but of the world as well, utopia as well, yeah. That's why. Sorry for that. So I will avoid uh, defining metaverse now. Okay,
All right.
maybe Lauren will do.
Yeah, I can speak a bit also.
Please.
I think what we will see soon, but it's so early, is that we're honestly in the middle of a revolution in fashion. So I think we can kind of see this previously in what happened with music. There was a certain level of technology that arrived, and either you adapted or you definitely struggled. And I think now what we're realizing is like we don't want to be left behind. And Web3, like what it brings, like with the technology, with even the vision of, I think it feels a bit utopian, right? But like, how do we really come together around improving the industry, around improving the world? And I definitely have like more of a lens as a designer, since I've been working in New York and London, and I'm now in Paris. In the industry, it's like beautifully crafted, but also it definitely has needs on how we can integrate technology like blockchain to make it more transparent, to onboard more creatives, and just to make it more of an ecosystem that is fuller and more balanced between different fields. And so that's honestly like my approach and my vision for kind of like what we're here working on and trying to build. Not trying to leave behind anyone, but how can we explain it also in an understandable way, even at this moment when we're still trying to define like what is a DAO, what is digital, what is Web3. And so all these things are so new, but if we come together at the start to build that, on one open place, decentralized on a blockchain, then I believe that it's just a whole new approach, and will lead to some really interesting processes and things.
Absolutely. That sounds like a very big vision.
Yeah, yeah. One small addition. 2 weeks ago, during the Christie's Art Tech Summit, Mike Novogratz, I mean, another famous angel investor, along with Kazbek. So he was asked while being on the stage, when the metaverse as a term will receive its, let's say, full adoption. He said a provocative phrase. He said, when people stop saying metaverse, 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 then the metaverse will be accepted. I mean, when the word metaverse will become natural as, let's say, as a part of our life. So yeah, and regarding this, I have a second question to you guys. So as I've mentioned in in the very beginning of our webinar, from 2020, we saw a lot of collaborations between fashion brands and digital artists or NFT startups. So do you think those brands, I mean, huge brands from brick and mortar world, they just try to speak the digital language of Gen Z, so persuading them into buying real clothes, or those brands they see the full-fledged digital apparel as the future? So in other words, what do fashion brands currently create within metaverse?
Lauren is better expert here.
Yeah, or either me or
You all are
Miki.
experts.
But yeah, I guess how I would break that down, right? So Web3 is like, there's so many components within that, and there's so many opportunities for improvement within current systems. So I mean, one recent example that we all came across was the collaboration between Tiffany's and CryptoPunks. So right, this was one we saw very recently, and it really triggered a lot of conversation around either like the more Web3 innovator purists, where they're saying, is this an authentic collaboration? Is this really like where Web3 and fashion is going? But what it does start is to definitely start a conversation and bring together two communities that may not before have been united. So I see that, right, as one way of stepping forward. But even using NFTs, right, as a method for transparency, ownership, this is something that brands can leverage. But I think right where we're going is not only using these at a starting kind of for sales purposes, but how do you restructure at a fundamental level to enable that into a system of where it's more on an equal playing field with communication between different parties. And that's where a DAO comes in. And it's really a different kind of conversation versus just saying things like NFTs. I'm sure Miki can speak more about that.
Yeah, thank you. Completely agree, Lauren, as always. So I'll just loop it back to the first point about this 2 trillion, that for us, this 2 trillion is really about gifting it back to the creative economy this time. So as you say, the metaverse or the internet or a digital framework is nothing new. And we actually currently live in one anyway. We just don't call it a metaverse. So our cultural paradigms in how we use Amazon, Instagram, etc., in a centralized hierarchical fashion, and the capital constructs in the market happen because of that. What we mean by gifting this 2 trillion back to the creators is in the DAO decentralized method. That ownership level of creators, producers, metaverse creators will be the inheritors of that wealth, investments, and value, and will be able to make further decisions from that. And yeah, when that scales into the two approaches of the metaverse or digital fashion, you've got on one hand, obviously, Nike purchasing Artifact and Gucci, Metaverse, Burberry, all of these branded attempts, which are really beautiful, very cool, and interactive. And they are definitely focused at just increasing their market share and selling lots of new cool stuff. And then if you look on the other end, there's some really, really innovative, forward thinking, as you said, Gen Z native brands. Lauren and Carlu runs Altarage with a few people. That's a fashion DAO, creates digital fashion. Ouroboros as well. There's some really amazing people there. Fabricant, and these digital native approaches have a more identity-based sales mechanism. So they're not just trying to sell, they're also changing what it is to be a community, to wear fashion and explore. And I think the way Gen Z communities or new communities start to use this technology will be very competitive to those brands that just want to sell more product.
Absolutely. And if we're coming back to NFT, as Lauren was mentioning, it's like one of the issues that you can solve is like transparency. What other issues like can we talk about? Like how NFT in general can improve the industry and what kind of issues can it help to solve in general?
Well, it's a really good example, that very famous monkey one, the NFT, and they've created their ape coins and these things. Although it might not be amazing creatively, if you look at what they've done and how they aggregate their community, it's really, really clever. So it's a modern version of a CRM system. They created a small set of creative, gifted it out to their community, and then used that first 10,000 people. They created a mutant thing after, so you could evolve your characters, but they gave these to the community, not sold them from their own shops, which gave that community the first stage of interaction on that product. And then if you follow their later releases, they now have 60,000 product NFT owners that put on events, collaborate with each other, and are doing a whole bunch of other partnership mechanisms. So the way they have collaborated with their audience is very, very clever. And I think that's going to become key in the NFT market when people start to understand the multi-point value of what an NFT is.
Absolutely. And Lauren and Kazbek, maybe you can answer as well, like what kind of issues can NFT solve if you have a certain perspective on that?
Quite a lot, quite a lot. So I can speak about that for hours, but okay, just the main bullet points. So fashion industry is huge. It's usually people don't understand that fashion is bigger than IT in revenues. Fashion is bigger. Usually people say, okay, giants are Microsoft, Facebook, Google, blah blah blah, but the revenues of fashion industry are from, nobody knows exactly, first from 9 to 12 trillion of dollars, trillion already. Yeah, so in this physical world. So why? Because everyone wears some pants or some dresses or something. Yeah, so not everyone has the iPhones. Yeah, so but in terms of the like investment, venture capital infrastructure, yeah, or all the investment infrastructure, so fashion of course isn't that much strong, so it's almost zero level at the layer of venture capital. So, and so fashion is huge, and fashion is of course so physical, so the most physical business ever. Yeah, so you can compare, maybe food industry can be compared. Yeah, so that means that the fashion brands, they are like empires. Yeah, Chanel has more than 10 billion of sales. Yeah, Louis Vuitton, they have like 20 billion of that. I don't remember exact numbers now, but there are like 1,000 of huge brands. Then almost all of them understand now, and they are C-level executives, they understand that they should be fashionable every season, from season to season. That is the destiny of fashion industry, of fashion business. Yeah, you have to follow the trends, you have to create trends. You cannot build a just stable company as the like any other company. Yeah, so, and the main trend, the main thing now, the most fashionable thing now in fashion is metaverses, is DAOs, is NFTs, and that is the problem. They make money in this fiat world. Fiat means based upon government money, upon centralized economy, upon centralized tax control, upon centralized business. Yeah, totally centralized. There are three bigger consortiums here in fashion industry: LVMH, Kering Group, and Richmond Group. Yeah, plus Prada Group, plus American centralized groups here. So they generate up to 80% of all income. Yeah, of all profits. Yeah. So on one hand, we have them, and their money are from this physical world, but they have this problem: they have to be fashionable, and to be fashionable means to go to metaverse. So what they do, they use metaverse, NFTs, DAOs as their marketing window, or like as a window, like in the store. Yeah, so I'm not complaining, I'm not judging, but still I think most of what brands do up to now, yeah, it's not making money in metaverse. It's not creating the metaverse economy. It's not building the metaverse business, like for fashion. It's just using that. They still, they're enormous companies, enormous budgets here in this physical world. So they do something in on any metaverse platform. So then they come back here to the printed magazines, fashion magazines, and like promote the articles. I don't know how. I mean, but of course they are advertisers. So saying, okay, this brand is in metaverse, blah blah blah, but it's still at the conferences, printed media, or even Web2 media, and not more. So we speak to a lot of brands, yes. So not just us, but us at the level of executive team, but we have more than 70 advisory board members. Some of them are companies, consultancy agencies. Some of them are brands. So practically, so usually, of course, there is like this intonation that, oh, all the bigger brands are welcome. Yes, but the next point is they are welcome to build the metaverse economy, not just to make a hype and coming back to traditional media and so on. So I had a long talk with the brand, which has with the top management of it. So right last week. So they have 5 billion in revenues. Italian brand, everyone knows that. So they are extremely cool. They have everything. They have their buildings. They have their like platforms, everything. They said, okay, we understand that you want us. We said, no, we don't want you. So we invite you. You are welcome. We want everyone, so who wants to create something in metaverse. They say, okay, we have 5 billion revenues. We said, okay, Ouroboros, like you mentioned, Ouroboros has less, definitely less. But Ouroboros has it in metaverse. How much do you have in metaverse? I mean, in sales, not in promoting, because they spent like, they're ready to spend millions for marketing. Like we are in the metaverse. They said up to now zero. So I answered, sorry for that, but Ouroboros is way bigger than you are. So, and coming back to history, I think that it's momentum, like it was when Amazon, 1995, came to Barnes and Noble. So we discussed it with Lauren, for instance. She's American. So it was just 20-something years past. So Amazon just asked for $100,000 for some internet project and said, no, we are this industry. We are chain of bookstores. We are readership in the world. So then they approached Walmart, I mean Amazon, Jeff Bezos, the same story. So $100,000 no, for this stupid idea. So that is called in economics. There is a term, creative destruction. Joseph Schumpeter, the Austrian School of Economics, brought it. Creative destruction means that all the bigger market players will be destructed. that means so. I'm not forecasting that. I'm not pushing that idea. But I say that when you approach the respected brands like Louis Vuitton or Prada or Chanel, we love them. We use them. But when you invite them to the metaverse business, tell them, give them tasks to create something, not just asking for some marketing budgets, because it is Ouroboros who will be bigger next day, okay, in a couple of years, in the metaverse. That is what we think and understand from practice, from history of business. So and that's the biggest issue. So when
we have another question coming closer to your DAO, Dennis.
I mean, thank you, Kazbek. I mean, for let's say, speaking in investment terms, you showed the opportunity. You showed the opportunity for the others to join your, I mean, your particular DAO and the fashion metaverse in general. But let's introduce your DAO to our audience in a more closer way. I mean, you've started. putting those fantastic team together, you started with creating DAO and not the, let's say, NFT fashion line or fashion collection. So that's interesting. And my question is, what services does Metaverse Fashion Council offer to fashion designers, collectors, and first of all, investors?
Miki, is it you or me who will start? What do you think?
Yeah, I can jump in there. And just to reaffirm what I was saying earlier, when people start to understand the tokenized, what you can do with the token, so a DAO, an NFT, or an on-chain community like Ethereum, there's very little difference except in terminology. If it's a DAO, if it's an NFT project. So Yuga Labs released an NFT project and turned it into a DAO and a tokenized community. So it's about following the stages. So the stages we've been strategizing and looking at the whole ecosystem. Lauren's got a huge amount of experience in centralized fashion. And when you look at that structure and how it operates, it's about kind of turning it upside down, as we mentioned, re-putting it for the creators. So we focused on industry standards, technology that people are going to be creating, infrastructure that will be applicable to all of those businesses, which is where the incubation and investment comes in, and then scaling those resources for DAOs, DAO of DAOs, or NFT product creators just individually. So allowing them, first of all, education to understand all of this, and then access to advisors, different collaborators from the scene who can then help them roll out AR versions of their clothes, digital or immersive events, or just learn and collaborate deeper in the scene.
Thank you. And the next one that I have probably would make sense if everyone contributes to this one, because I'm very curious what is like everyone's perspective on it. What is your perspective? What makes Metaverse Fashion Council actually special? And how is it different from everything else that exists already in the industry? So maybe you could start, Lauren.
Sure, I can start. I mean, I think, right, also kind of based on those other two questions is that thinking about, right, the integration of use of Web3, NFTs in traditional structures, this is just really a different mindset of like how a DAO is run. So a DAO is about an ecosystem, and that's why it can be hard to pinpoint exactly what is the start, what is like the core offering, because you're not creating one single product, you're creating an ecosystem. So at least like with what we're working on with the council, we have, right, the source of information, access to professionals with Web2, with previous experience in the traditional industry, but pairing that with innovation, with technology, and having this merge together. So, right, that essentially is the community. So Miki is totally right when he speaks about like NFT projects. This is how they begin, is with the community, versus traditionally in fashion, this is how we end. It's like, do you want to be like directly conversing with the person or those who are actually using your product? Do you want to give them control? Do you want to have them have an opinion? So that is definitely like a new approach, and that's why it's so, right. So it can become so complex. And how do we also implement these tools like blockchain? We're proposing to offer an ecosystem, so the future of the fashion industry. So how does that look? We have, right, the source, a combination of those who are already well-versed in fashion, but then also different fields to help really bring diversity into an industry that is quite closed, to be honest. And so that's one aspect. And the second is where do we speak? So creating a headquarters that's in the metaverse. So how can we engage not only based on our physical location anywhere in the world, and another time zone difficulty comes into play, but that's the future. How do we communicate in a decentralized way? And then the third aspect is the access. So it's something, right, that is very valuable. And so how do we also not gatekeep, but then really make sure that has like that value? So what is the access? How do we enter it and connect to this level of knowledge that's being built? So.
Right. Thank you, Lauren. Kazbek, Miki, would you like to comment as well?
So the question is like how we are, so we are not unique, because we want to be like, not all the industry, but let me bring an example. Yeah, so everyone knows what Paris Fashion Week is. Yeah, it's one of the most important events on planet. Yeah, okay. So, and usually I ask people when we speak to different potential partners. Yeah, so they say, "What is Metaverse Fashion Council?" I say, "Okay, there is Paris Fashion Week. Who runs Paris Fashion Week?" It is an event. Of course, it is commercial, and brands who take part in it. So if you count their value, yes, it's going to be maybe $500 billion a year, maybe more. Yeah, so just one Paris Fashion Week. So and who runs it? Yeah, what organization, what company, corporation, government? So there are like different answers, like maybe Paris government, yeah, or maybe French government, oh yeah, or maybe Louis Vuitton. Of course, there should be Louis Vuitton there, or maybe Louis Vuitton plus Facebook. Yeah, so and the right answer is that it is another non-profit organization, yeah, Fédération de l'Haute Couture et de la Mode Paris. So it is so Fashion Council. So we can call it Paris Fashion Council. Yeah, so. Is it monopoly? No, because it is non-profit, yeah, non-government organization, yeah. So is it for all the industry in France? Yes, of course, yeah. It's not just for this pool of companies or that pool of companies, yeah. So that's what we are going to build. So that is why we are quite open to everyone in the market, and not just in fashion, arts as well. So here we are. And I mean that plus tech companies, so that's why we have them, we speak to them, we invite them, and to financial companies. Of course, we prefer decentralized financial companies, but why not Visa, why not MasterCard? So okay, so we call them old fashion system companies. Why not? Because maybe one day they will want to be newer, like younger. Yes, so of course we invite them as well. So that's what make us not unique, but okay, unique. That means we want to serve for everyone. And another important principle is for investment opportunities as well. Yeah, so and services. Yeah, we don't sell any services. So we are like the platform or network. Network is the right tag term for that. Yeah, to contribute and to get rewarded. So get another example for that. So Bitcoin or Ethereum, yeah. So you know how it works. So Bitcoin is a network, yeah. It's a network of whom? Of miners. So and that is you mine, you get rewarded. You stop mining, you stop uh, getting rewarded. That's it. So nobody is the boss. Yeah, everyone contributes. Everyone takes part in it. Everyone is responsible for something. Okay, you can invest in your like special instruments how to mine. Okay, you can buy bitcoins, you can resell bitcoins, but the basis for this network, yeah, so for everything is network. So that's why starting from one person, then from three people, then from 10 people, okay, it became the strongest community, yeah, ever. So of course, and no one, just want to remind you, no one from this community said, "Oh, Visa or Mastercard or like Bank of America, come to us one day." They said, "No, we are building and creating the foundation for new industry. That is creative destruction." So that's what we want to create. Yeah, inviting traditional brands, of course. So we're not fighting. Yeah, we are open for them. So we are renovating. So that's quite important.
Yeah, and just following on from that, to say what's so special and unique about us is, so we were in the APPG Council in Parliament the other week, in the UK Parliament, discussing blockchain, metaverse technology. And as always, there was some people speaking about DeFi and infrastructure and technology. These are very hard things to get your head around if you're not really in those things. And then this really amazing lady who was a multiple CEO and worked as an incubator of women's businesses. She spoke about the motherboard and how blockchain and DAOs, she was seeing it as plugging into the motherboard. And I thought that was really amazing terminology and description, and that's kind of how we would like to be offering our council. So if you look at these centralized councils, the hierarchy is quite exclusive. You've got to go to some amazing universities and work very, very hard to have your designs manipulated to win your way through these hurdles. Whereas we really like to put the infrastructure around the community, from AR education, smart contract education, collaboration, etc., and provide this motherboard or garden for the creators to own and cultivate themselves.
Thank you. Before asking our next question, I'd like to showcase several comments and questions from our audience. I mean, there are a lot of them, so we will show you only few.
Oh,
Yes, excited about this session. So many insights to be shared.
yeah.
We promise to show them all, to showcase them all, but in a while. So we have a digital artist here, Matthew. Hi, Matthew. And
Oh, yeah, good.
everyone should put his Instagram. Yeah, he updated his account. So samopicasso.bodo, direct message. This is the only Instagram. So yes, I believe Matthew, with the help of our community and your community as well, will gain more subscribers. And we
Then
have one question from Sylvain Levy, the co-founder of DSL Collection, the first virtual reality collection which appeared several years ago. So he's a pioneer of this very movement. So Sylvain asks, can you compare the present situation of the metaverse to the utopian version of what was internet? That's a perfect question to me.
Definitely. Should we jump straight in, or?
I mean, yes.
So
Can
we
you
can.
compare? Just a quick reply with respect
So
to
I can
the person
explain.
who
Yeah,
asks
I
this.
can explain. You know, the core idea of metaverse, of decentralized metaverse, is like the liberal anarchy. I mean, just economical term. I don't mean political anarchy. Yeah? So that means that the crypto anarchy manifesto was by Timothy May, was published 1988. There were no web then. I just want to say that the core idea of metaverse stuff, yeah, is before the internet came. Before, it's the same idea. Cyberspace was the name of metaverse then. So, for instance, the Wei Dai, and another scientist, Wei Dai, anonymous scientist, yeah, he wrote his article "Be Money." Yeah, it was 1992. Yeah, so Satoshi Nakamoto, when he promoted his white paper with the Bitcoin 2008, he quoted the Wei Dai's "Be Money," so as the first quotation in his white paper, yeah? And it was 1992, and Wei Dai said, okay guys, now we are going to colonize new cyberspace, new world, new utopia, yeah. So to cooperate, to collaborate, we need some money. So that means crypto. There were no crypto, no internet then. And the world, even the world metaverse, yeah, was coined by Neil Stevenson in 1992, yeah, in his Snow Crash novel. So internet and metaverse isn't the next step of internet. Metaverse is the internet. That means decentralized internet. Yeah. So that is the answer.
all right.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's very important for the person who creates whatever, a company, a startup, or a DAO, to know the background and to know the pioneers. So your colleagues and investors should be happy that you have such a wide, rich background. My question actually, I would like to know more about your DAO. So the question is, so what were the key milestones of your DAO so far, and at the same time, what expectations do you have in terms of investment and marketing?
Let's speak on the example of our governance NFTs. Yeah, it's a core thing. Yeah, and around that, and it's a nice example of everything we do. Yeah, so and it has two sides, three sides at least. Yeah, investment side, community building side, and creative side. So and arts and fashion. So we have Lauren, we have Miki here, and it's quite unique. This is unique, and so not to be modest, we want this collection to be built by like a decentralized way by 500 brands, designers, and so on. Okay, in a timeline of 1 year or two, and of course we want to not compete, but we want to strike back, yeah, to CryptoPunks. We want to build something huge, yeah, enormous, and important. So please, Lauren and Miki, please explain everything. Yeah. So.
You want to start, Miki? Or do I?
Yeah, just want to remind you that the question wasn't about the future plans. I believe we'll such a question in stock, and so we'll be happy asking that. But about the milestones, I mean, the key milestones which your DAO has passed until the present day.
Okay. So we have been launched. So now we have more than 70 advisory board members. We have another 300 applications of people wanting to become advisory board members. It's more difficult now. Not everyone is early bird, of course. It's like in a liberal anarchy. It happens, yeah. So we are open and we have talks. And we already organized several events. Yeah, it's Metaverse Fashion Fest, and we launched it for 4 seasons. And we have another one in September, and we are hosting the Metaverse Fashion Summit. Yeah, I hope that it will be the main Metaverse Fashion event for all the industry in October, at the end of October, immediately a couple of weeks after Paris Fashion Week, of course. And it's first time we can tease this, we can tell this secret. Yeah, so we're going to host the Metaverse Fashion Awards at the end of the year to start like building reputations. Yes, the top 10 companies, top 10 events, top 10 brands, and the best players, and it all will be selected. I mean, all the players, all the like winners, they will not be selected just by jury, just by respected people like it is in centralized world. They will be selected by community, yeah, and the community will vote on blockchain. So, and for that voting power of the community, we are creating by the guidance of Lauren and Miki, we are creating governance NFT collection. So, and we want to describe it, yeah, to present it.
Because you started talking about like future plans, like where would you like to see your DAO? Like where would you like to see your DAO in 5 years? What's the vision?
Miki can answer. Yeah, hope so. Better than I do.
Trouble. So I'm a big decentralized advocate. So I really do believe if you look at the geopolitical economic landscape in the next 5 to 10 years, I think the last world crisis we had not long ago, the crypto got to the 3rd biggest currency in the world. So I think going forward, that might increase, definitely in the 5 to 10 year range. And then how we geopolitically coordinate this decentralization for benefit of humanity. So in this case, fashion and recycling, sustainability, distribution. I think there's going to be huge elements there. So we'd really like to help in that with some of the other players on the team in the ecosystem, and just helping perpetuate, shape those new structures.
Lorena?
Yeah, I can jump in like with kind of a more specific example of what we're working on for what Kazbek had mentioned, right? The governance NFT project. So I mean, the goal of this is to kind of be more than just like a PFP project. It's to initiate proposals, on-chain activities for the future, create working groups that are balanced between council members, also digitally native brands, like you mentioned, Ouroboros, also Entourage is an organization I founded, a DAO-led fashion label. Those who are building that and familiar with this new system, as well as emerging designers, and giving voice to those who are learning and support them in their process, because it's a lot to learn. Everything is quite new. So to support that is like the creation of this project to create these NFTs that will lead to also for future investment, incubation funds as well. And that's maybe a starting point, of where we're going next around this project. So
sounds great, thank you. And we have a comment from Fashion Metaverse Club. What the one common assumption of fashion within the metaverse that frustrates you the most? Cheers, Warren. So what assumption have you so far faced that kind of frustrates you the most?
What do you think, Miki?
Definitely the association of the word NFT. When you say, "Oh, we're doing NFTs, digital fashion, or NFTs fine art," we have a fine art gallery in London, and everyone's looking at me as if I sell monkeys, basically, and I'm obsessed with monkeys. And there's a lot more to the whole situation and applicabilities of such thing. So that is always upsetting. And actually, on aside from that, on the sociological angle, which is the whole 5-year battle, I think getting a large amount of the population to understand the possibility of decentralization, not as just an investment or a hype thing, but as a tool that we can really, really use. This is like an active battle. And we hear lots of negative feedback that comes through, like PR loops or other invested parties. So that's quite upsetting.
Thank you. And what about Kazbek and Lauren? What are the things that frustrate you in this, in the fashion and metaverse now? What have you faced?
I can go. Yeah, I mean, Kazbek, is a lot what you said before about authenticity. It's are you here to be with us and build something new and really empower creatives? I mean, because I have this lens, I'm a designer, or are you just here, for a quick grab, just to kind of do something that just enables and grows your previous current business structure that's not really trying to come together through authentic collaboration? So I think that is something I just look for authenticity when I see projects. Another thing that I also believe, as especially within fashion, is how can we be honest and clear at the start about expectations within collaborations? Because I think sometimes this comes at the end, when it should always be a conversation at the start of let's say, we're working with a big established brand. How do we make sure at the beginning all parties are getting something at the end that is beneficial to them, not just one person, gaining. So I would say those two things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is an old joke about artificial intelligence. So 10 years ago, 7 years ago, true programmers, they had this joke. They said, everyone is going to and fro to different conferences and says, okay, we have artificial intelligence, but where is it exactly? Yeah. So the right answer is just in the pitch decks of people speaking at the conference. There is no artificial intelligence with those people. So the backlash with the meta washing, as we call it, is coming, as it is already with sustainability, as it was before with other sorts of hype. So we don't like it. So where is metaverse now? So I can follow up. So on conferences, and in printed media, all of them speak about metaverses. So, but it's the first sign of that it's centralized thinking. It's not honest. And it's not productive. So that is the problem. We are not judging, So, but it's quite evident. It's like black and white, If people wanna make quick buck today, So consulting, there are a lot of metaverse evangelists, So, but it's hard job to create community, not the metaverse, Just to be equal, just to stop trying to be the boss, or just not, just to stop trying to be a middleman. Yeah, so because everyone wants to be right in the middle. Yeah, so I don't want to bring the names. Yeah, but from our practice of discussing this community, yeah, the MFC, Metaverse Fashion Council. So we had a lot of cases when people come and they say, okay, you know me, I'm quite cool, so please pay me because I will promote your organization. We say, no. So first, there is nothing to be promoted. It's community. Then please contribute, do something for the community. Okay, and you will be rewarded. It's just another way of making, like, creating value. And once we've been contacted by one of the biggest persons from New York, yeah, where you are, yeah. So, and the lady said, her team said, she's so important and she wants to be compensated, yeah. So we said, we're non-profit. They said, no, not just money. That means like some privileged place, yeah. So like right in the center, like for her. So okay, it frustrates a little bit, but we're healthy, we're romantic, we said, yeah, and we're pragmatic, we said. So that's why we just laugh and go forward. So no frustrations at a high level. Yeah.
Cool. We have a traditional last question regarding the top 3 tips for the young startuppers. Throughout the last year and this year, we've heard a lot from our guests who, in general, represented art tech and NFT space. So, what would be the tips from the creators of fashion from the metaverse fashion industry? And I know that you, Kazbek, are, besides being an angel investor and serial fashion entrepreneur, you are known as one of the coolest mentors of the industry. And so what would be your tips? This is a question for everyone, but please, Kazbek, you are the first.
So okay, just 15 seconds. Then I'm leaving, having the huge conversation with one of the centralized and enormous brands. Yeah. So be brave. So should it be 3 tips or just one? 3.
It depends on the level of the brand. If he can wait, so it will be 3. If he can't, so 1.
Yeah. Steve Jobs told us, be foolish, yeah, be crazy, be brave, and be quite open. Yeah, so it's the best. Don't lose this momentum. Yeah, so it's the best moment ever. So thanks a lot. I'm leaving you. So Miki and Lauren, please.
Yeah, keeping fingers crossed
Yeah.
on your further collaboration with this brand and with your development. Thank you, Kazbek. And we're leaving with the charming Lauren and Miki.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
So the inspiration for the founders.
Yeah. I love this question because it's always something, right? When you're building, you just want to know, you want to like ask people, you want to have these conversations to know like what is in the minds of like those who are building. So I think it's really important to be honest and open about that. So I have 3. I would say, first off, like from me, my perspective as a creator, create in line with your values, because this is just very personal. Like whenever in the past I really contradicted with that is when I had issues. But when I align myself with like, what are my values? What are my fundamentals? And kind of knowing what those are and what you want to bring, I think is just the best starting point. Right. And we have realistic things in the world that we need to fix, that we have to make money. We have to pay our rents. But how can we do that in alignment with values? So I would say that is a big one. The second would be find your niche. I think that's really still interesting in Web3. Web3 is still kind of a niche. We're kind of in a bubble right now until we're all understanding what all of this means and how it will affect our current lives in Web2. So for me, like my niche is phygital, because I'm really interested about like this crossover between the physical and the digital world. How can we use the digital to improve the physical? So I would say find what makes you special and like find what you're passionate about. And then the last would be, especially in Web3, get ready to learn, because it's all about taking initiative. Nobody knows everything. So if someone tells you that they do, they are lying. So I'd say get ready to learn. And even from like the DAO perspective, I've tried to come up with a formula because I like to be clear on like such new words. So basically, your contribution plus your incentive is your initiative. So like it's the combination of these three spaces, and we're definitely here to contribute and to build. So I'd say get excited and get started.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing, Lauren. Thank you. Yeah, I just say do the first. Like we're saying, it's emerging, and bear in mind, all of these leaders, massive companies have been around for a year or two at max. Was it last year or this year? I can't even remember anymore, Lauren. But we did one of the first digital fashion digital exhibitions together, Entourage in our art set gallery. It was epic. It was new. We've done AR plots. There's so much new stuff going on. So as Kazbek said, with the behavioral economics, that actually move fast and break things. Like if you've got an idea and you've got an inkling for it, I'd dive in and get it done. And I think you'd be surprised at how far this will take you in the current climate. And again, as Lauren said, nobody knows enough. So when you come up on this education wall and it's confusing, just grab your little bit and start walking up the hill and learning. You don't have to understand everything, and no one does.
Absolutely. And I feel it's just great being in a new industry because you just feel it's like so energetic and there's so many things happening and you can be there in the middle of everything.
Literally, yeah.
You know, I have a personal questions towards Lauren, because studying your CV, I found this, that you also are the inventor of the term meta-reality. So could you please elaborate on that, because it's very interesting.
Yeah, I love to talk about this. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of what I said before about this is so new. There's so many words that we feel like we're just making up. Though, I mean, not all of them, or at least being able to agree on what are our own definitions. So I was having that experience with Phygital. And so about a year and a half ago, I had a Clubhouse. If anyone remembers being on this before Twitter Spaces, it was called The Future of Phygital. So it was really about like, how do we bring together like these two sides to arrive at a conclusion that is improved, more sustainable. My favorite case study, we had Tracy from Aurelian Icarus, which is a sustainable jewelry label, and then Susanna from Jevels, which is a totally digital jewelry marketplace. And so basically they come together and decide, okay, how can we balance what each other is working on, collaborate, and now they're partners. So for me, that was the start around like, how do we further define this term? And so maybe in kind of like a sciencey mathematical lens, I made up this word meta-reality. And so like what I believe about like Web3 identity and even designing, it will be across like these three spaces. And so the first one is IRL, in real life. And so, right, we're quite familiar with how this works, where it needs to be extremely improved. It needs to be made more sustainable, more circular. And there's definitely a lot of work to do there, and I think shouldn't be forgotten about. So that's the first space, right? And right, I'm wearing this outfit. I understand how it feels. So first space. The second is called ORL, and we call this on real life. And so that's what Miki was saying about augmented reality. This, I think, is going to be massive, right? Like this integration of a layer on top of our physical space and our physical world. So just wait till we're all wearing our glasses and living another right layer. And then the last one is just something that we call at Entourage LTL, larger than life, because I think in the metaverse, right, you can have so many possibilities. You don't have to work with gravity. You can be on fire. And so as a creator, that's especially exciting and overwhelming to be able to create a world and your identity that doesn't need to reflect how you are physically. So for me, we just define it like this is kind of an extension of Phygital, taking it one step further, and also how we create our collections at Entourage. So yeah, thanks for asking.
Thank you. Thank you so much for explaining. So cool. I mean, do you have other additional questions, Sonia?
I feel I'm so far good. I feel like we had a lot of comments and we almost put all of them here. I feel like we have another comment just saying that creative destruction sounds interesting, and some other comments just about how wonderful was this conversation, how insightful it was. So I feel we're good for today.
Yes, thank you again. Thanks everyone. That was really exciting and great of starting exploring here at Fuel Arts the brand new sphere with our guests. I mean, the fashion industry. As we mentioned during our, let's say, short intro, the art world, the art market has experienced a lot of collaborations between art and fashion, and now the era of art plus fashion plus, thank you streaming museum, and tech and the metaverse. So this era has already started, and one of the best ways to explore it is to join a DAO, as we found out today. Thank you, Miki. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Sonia. So you're always welcome as guests of our webinars, and we'll be happy to know more about your progress and keeping fingers crossed.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to the audience. Sylvain, Streaming Museum, Matthew, have a good day.
Yeah, Samo Picasso wrote down the handle. Thank you guys. Really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for giving us a platform. And yeah, looking forward as well to hearing what comes with your community.
Cool. So that's, I mean, the level and the quantity of questions asked by your community proves that you have it, and you don't only, have your community, I mean, in numbers, but you also work with it. That's why it's so active. That's why it cares what you're doing and where are the let's say the key persons of the DAO, or I mean, whatever you call it. Where they take part in, I mean, whatever webinars, and they are following you. That's good. That sounds very inspiring. So have a great success. Thank you, and everyone, see you next week.
See you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.